everyone. This is Jake Adams, sports editor with the Carlisle Sentinel. We're trying something new here today. We're doing a Zoom chat with Marlee Starliper, Northern senior distance runner, and with Neely Gracey, former Shippensburg High School, Shippensburg University, and Olympic qualifying runner. I hope I got everything right there. We might get a visit from Lois Brommer Ducat at some point here. We have about 30 minutes here to go on this video. We want to try and have the three of the best women runners we've had in high school and potentially college, here soon with Marlee, talk with each other and get to know each other and, share some stories about running and running through this pandemic and everything too. So I hope everyone kind of enjoys this. I want to get started. The less I'm talking, the better. So let's kind of go a little round table here and just do some general introductions, who you are, what you've been up to, a little bit about your running career. I guess, Neely, we'll start with you first.
Cool. Yeah, I'm Neely Spence Gracey. I grew up in Shippensburg, went to Shippensburg High School for athletics, and then went to Shippensburg University for college. Graduated, turned pro, and I have been chasing lots of goals ever since. My most recent goal has been starting a family and having a baby. So my kid is now 1.5 years, and I'm starting to get back into training, back into focus, and getting excited for, I guess now it's going to be 2021 Olympic trials. So, but yeah, that's kind of my history. Lots of people already know me, but I currently live and train in Colorado, and my husband Dylan is my coach, and he also went to Shippensburg with me.
Marlee, your turn.
Yeah, I'm Marlee Starliper. I'm so far just a high school runner, but yeah, I've had a lot of fun just through the years. And just seeking improvement every year. And I'm just very thankful for all the experiences that it's brought me. I'm from Dillsburg, and I go to Northern High School. And yeah, I am committed to NC State to run for the next 4 years and keep chasing some big goals after that, hopefully. I would love to do what Neely did and pursue a professional running career. So I'm super excited to see what the future holds.
All right, so it does look like we're about to get joined here in a minute by Lois. I just got a text from her saying she'll jump in a second. So
Awesome.
for our readers and viewers and whatnot, when you see a fourth box show up, that's going to be what it is. So while we're waiting for her to join in, let's start here real quick. My first question is for Marlee. How have you dealt with the past few weeks, and how has the shutdown impacted your training, your track and field season, getting ready for college and everything too?
Yeah, so that's a good question, and there's a lot of different things to that for me. So yeah, right when everything was first canceled, like right before New Balance Nationals, that was just such a shock. Cause like in my like community and like our like district and everything, like there really wasn't much action going on, but I know places like New York were obviously starting to ramp up and just the severity of it all. But yeah, it just totally took me by surprise, and it really hurt because I was like, that week, in the week up to leading up to New Balance, I was, actually more tapering and really resting up, and I just felt so ready to go. I was so excited. But yeah, so it really hurt not getting that opportunity because I also really love racing at the Armory. It's literally my favorite place ever. But after that, like at first I was like talking with my coach, and he's like, oh my gosh, like, can we find another race? Is there something we can do? But then sure enough, I think it was like the next day that like practically everything got canceled. And that was just like insane. Like, and at that point, like our track season wasn't canceled yet. I think it was, I forget if it was just later. I think it might've been later on that week, or it might've been the next day that then it was announced that we wouldn't be there for the next 2 weeks. But anyway, so then when we realized like, yeah, there'd be no other racing opportunities, I went on break after that. I think, I forget if I took like a week or like 7 days, or I'm sorry. Oh, there's Lois.
Hi, Lois.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
Should I
yeah, keep going. Yeah,
okay.
well,
All right. So, yeah, I took my break just after that, since I was like, well, okay, there goes that. But then, yeah, the one day I was gonna go hiking while my mom ran with my dog, but she ended up not just feeling good that day, so it was a bit slower. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna join you for fun. Like, I'm on break. When else do I get to run with my mom and my dog? But I was wearing really bad shoes, and it was like a really rocky trail. And then after that, like, I still had a few days left of my break at that point, but once I got back into it, I actually was feeling something like right above my ankle. And it kind of hurt. It ended up like I ran on it a little bit because I didn't feel it, but then eventually I could feel it a little bit afterwards when I was walking. So I was like, I don't know what this is. I'm not going to mess with it. So I just backed off, and it took a few days rest. We actually were able to get an MRI, and it wasn't a stress fracture. It's just like, apparently they think it's just a muscle strain. So that was like, it's so weird, which that kind of doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, so that happened. So I actually haven't been running for, I think, like about 3 weeks.
Wow.
But like, as hard as that's been, like, on top of everything else, like not having that to just like mentally be relaxed and just be enjoying outside more, like, it's been really tough. But at the same time, like, I'm trying to like really make the most of it, in the sense of like, you know what, like, my body hasn't gotten a break like this in like a few years, from just like, trying to stay just as fit as I can and just be at my best for each season. So I'm really trying to like embrace, like, like, I got like some great time to rest. And like, even though like I don't even know if I could have been running this whole time, we're just trying to play it really, really safe. But I feel blessed that was to happen at this time, because it's like I don't have to rush back into things. I don't need to like I just don't need to go overboard with anything. Like, I can just be really patient with it and have a gradual build up again. So it's kind of crazy, because you see other people, and it's great how they're still maintaining such great training despite being on their own. But yeah, I'm right now just trying to really embrace resting and everything. But something interesting with that, though, that I think is fun to mention, with everything like being shut down and stuff, so for me to keep up some cross training, we actually borrowed a wetsuit from a friend. And I went to a lake nearby my house, and I was like aqua jogging and did a little bit of open water swimming. And that worked for one time, but then the second time I got kicked out. So now I've been aqua jogging in my one friend's pool, and it's just freezing. Like, I get out of the water and I can hardly stand. My feet are so cold. But I think it's been fun, because I'm practicing adapting to different situations. So it's been interesting, to say the least.
So, Lois, hi, by the way. I wanted to catch you up. We started recording.
Sorry, I was late.
It's all right. We started recording just a couple minutes ago. So I wanted to give you a chance here to jump in and kind of introduce yourself a little bit of your running history, and who you are, what you do now, and then kind of throw you in as well with, how have you been coping with and having to adjust to the pandemic situation the past few weeks?
Hi, I'm Lois Ducat. My name was Brommer. So, many years ago, I was running, and I think my name has come up when these ladies have been running, because I've had a record for a long time, and everybody talks about whether or not it'll get broken. So it looks like I'll still have it, at least for another year. So I ran from 78 to 82. I graduated in 1982 from Mechanicsburg, and I still have a District 3 record in the 3200. I did have a 1600 record that Neely broke.
And now Marlee has it.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Brought us all together.
Why we're all talking.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's nice to have that continuity, because the one thing I always think of that you all probably can't appreciate, but I remember when they first started letting girls compete. Wow. And I've always felt very blessed that I never missed a year of running, because when I was in 7th grade was the first year that they let girls run junior high track, and I was very fortunate, because that clearly was where my talent was. So I never got to miss out on running. And at the time, I think there might have been 5 years of girls running before me. So you know, when I was looking at times and setting goals about what I could do, there really wasn't a whole lot of history of what girls could do and how close girls could get to boys or not. So I think in a way it was probably a blessing. Like I had no idea that the times I was running would hold up as long as they did. You know, and now it's like 40 years later. So, you know, it's just a totally different perspective, I think, for someone like Marlee to be able to be looking back at 40 years over girls running. And, you know, like I had 5. And when I went to college, I think the track team had been in existence for 5 years.
Wow. It's really neat, Lois, to hear your story, because when I was in high school, I interviewed you and did an article on your running back in the day. And so it's neat to kind of be coming full circle here. And, you know, now all 3 of us are getting the chance to talk. And Marlee and I were discussing earlier how the last time I actually saw her was at the District 3 championships when she broke my record in the 1600. And if I remember right, I think Lois, you had the record for like 27 years.
Better memory.
And then I think it was 4:53. And then I ran 4:50. And I held the record for 10 years until Marlee broke it. And it was really neat because I got to be there and I got to watch her. So that was really special for me, Marlee.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, and it's funny because like I feel like it's just as special for me too, because like I've just like, I mean, all those years leading up to like that performance and like and other times this year, like it's just like I just always heard your guys' names over and over and like, hey, like, oh, she might be going up to this, like and it's just so crazy. It's just so awesome to like be talking with you guys now and just like, I mean, Lois, like you said, like that's just incredible. Like I couldn't believe when you said like, yeah, I remember when like girls were first allowed to start competing. Like that just blows my mind. And like, I mean, it gives me even more appreciation for what you did. Like, I mean, that's just incredible. Like that is so awesome to think about.
No, I feel so blessed that I was able to run because I love it. I still run. I loved competing. Awesome. There's just like, I really loved a good race, and I loved seeing what I could do. And I can't even imagine, like for me, what my life would have been like if I hadn't had that available to me, because I'm sure I wouldn't have gotten, like I went to Harvard, and I'm sure I went to Harvard because I was a good student and a good athlete. And then running on a college team was an important part of my life. And I made some of my best friends being part of my high school team and part of my college team. And I can't imagine what my experience, you know, would have been like without that. And I still run. I run just because I love to get outside and I need to move to stay happy. I think if I were a dog up for adoption, it would say, you know, she needs to be walked. But I have friends who I run with who are a little bit older than me, and they didn't have track available as a sport. And, you know, running with them now, I know they would have been incredible runners, and they didn't have that available to them. And, you know, I was fortunate that I was on the right side of that line. So it's nice to see it carried on.
Neely, how has this impacted your training for the Olympics too? Because I mean, on top of just the pandemic, you just had a kid a year and a half ago, so you've got all these, you know, compounding things going on right now. Is this helping you maybe? Like, does an extra year give you some more time to get ready?
Oh yeah, it's been very nice for me. You know, of course it's very unfortunate circumstances, and I wouldn't have wished for this to, you know, be the case, but I'm fully embracing the ability to train with no pressure, to train and really listen to my body without this, like, you know, I have to be ready on this exact date. So that's been really helpful. And then, obviously having an extra year of consistency is super important, because distance running in general is all about consistency. For anyone who's ever tried running, it's really hard when you first start, and it gets easier the more you do it, but you have to stick with it. And so, you know, I took off, you know, from competitive racing for the past 2 years, and I'm really excited to have this chance to rebuild some strength and fitness and try and work back towards being a competitive athlete and chasing these goals again.
How much has motherhood changed you as a runner?
I would say I certainly appreciate my runs more than I ever did. I love the ability to just lace up and run out the door from my house. And being a mom, you know, you have 1 hour of free time and that's all I need. I can go out and I can run, you know, for exactly 1 hour and I'm back ready to go. Definitely don't have the same level of focus or energy to put into training and that, like, you know, every little detail and aspect of competing at a really high level right now. And obviously as he gets older, that will, you know, start to change and I'll be able to shift back more towards that. But being home with him is really important to me, and getting to be his main caretaker and watch him grow, you know, every single day, it brings me a lot of joy. And I love being a mom, and you know, I've always said this, but of course I have goals and I have big dreams, but if I had the opportunity to either win the Olympics but then never run again, or I could run every day but never race again, I would totally run every day, because just running in general brings me a lot of joy.
I'm curious, and this is the reason why I wanted the three of you on one call together, because we got so much history here. Lois, you kind of touched on it a little bit ago. The way running has changed from your generation to Neely's to Marlee's. I mean, I know you and your husband keep tabs, at least to some degree, on just the local scene here. What have you witnessed in the evolution of high school girls running in particular, but just running as a whole, I guess?
I think the big thing is, I was thinking about this, is there's more events for women, at the Olympic level, and in general, I wish I could have been, my choices were up to the 1500. I think that was the longest you could run. And I'm not quite fast enough for that. I don't have that kind of speed. And then they added the marathon, and that's a little too long for me. So by the time, at least at that level, so by the time they added the 5 and the 10, I think by then I had, a career and kids, and it just, it wasn't a realistic option for me. Mm-hmm. And also lately I've been running in, just running in some half marathons and marathons, and it's just incredible, like what a festive atmosphere it is, and it's like a big party and all these people on the street, and it's, it's so much fun. And when I was doing it at a high level, it was, some diehard crazy people who, ran all the time. So I just think it's great that there's a lot more opportunity, and, and that people still like to run and participate in the sport. So.
Well, one thing that's really neat to note is, it wasn't that long ago that women were just allowed to run. And now more women globally run than men. Oh, and that's really cool. Yeah, just in the past few years, we have made that transition. So go girls.
Yeah, that's so cool to hear. And like, it's kind of, I've just thought about this, like, even like, I mean, this sounds kind of ridiculous compared to like all that you guys have seen over the years, but like even in my past 4 years of running at just at the high school level, like it just seems like more and more like people, like all these girls are just so driven, like, and they're so competitive in the best way. But like, if I had to like kind of describe how I feel it's just like ruthless. Like, it's amazing how driven like all these girls and other women are. Like, I feel like, yeah, kind of like you said, Neely, like women's running is just like totally exploding right now. And like, I think it's just so cool. Like, I mean, thinking ahead to like what it's going to become still. So
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you look at the Olympic trials for the marathon, they had the largest women's field ever this year. And so that was really cool to see. And then one thing that I think is really neat is, you're kind of mentioning this like ruthless, like really highly competitive, focused, goal driven. And that's so cool to see because, one thing that I think you had or have in high school that I didn't was Taryn. You have someone who is bringing out the best in you. and you guys know that the other person is trying to beat you. And so you're both going to work really hard, and you're both going to, try and go above and beyond.
We always I mean, it's just how you said, like, we always want to beat each other because we're always so close. Like, that definitely, like, I mean, I think it's cool thinking about that because, like specifically freshman year when, like, I found myself so close to her and I'm like, dang, like, that was too close. I kind of want to try to win now. Like, I am thankful for that because, I mean, she had set the standard freshman year, and then I think that's where I really just discovered about myself how much I love trying to rise to new challenges. And from there, like, I'm just so thankful that then that same just driven and passion, like, inside me, like, it just, it kept translating to just bigger and bigger things. And I'm just so thankful because I feel like, that definitely kick-started just like all the rest of our high school careers. And now it's just in the mile that I feel like we still are, like, I mean, it's just a battle. Like, you never know what's gonna happen.
It's been entertaining
awesome
to cover that too. I mean, I'm the oddball here. One, I'm the only guy in this group, and two, I'm not a runner. Like, I run casually now on my own. I picked that up in college, but when I first started covering you, Marlee, I mean, I think in my first year of actually covering cross country, and I didn't know who the heck you were. I didn't know Taryn. I was like, okay, cool. Really good freshman runners. This will be interesting to watch the next 4 years. And, here we are now, and it's just, I mean, I'm blown away by that. And it's been such an interesting journey to watch. We're impartial. We're not supposed to really get invested too much. But it's cool nonetheless to watch that battle rage for the past 4 years and how you guys have just taken it up a notch every single race. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, it's great to have that kind of competition locally. It's amazing. Like, the reason I ran the times I ran was I was trying to beat people at a state level who were at a very high level. And, I set that time at districts because I was trying to see what I could do before I went to states and really push myself, but I was all alone. And the good thing about competition is even if you come in second, it really helps you figure out how good are you really. And a lot of times you run your best time when you're coming in second, not when you're first.
Yeah, absolutely. I for sure, like, and I can just, so honestly say this, like, I mean, there's been a lot of kind of heartbreaking moments, like, just like throughout. I mean, it's been a lot of people just see the successes, but there's definitely been some moments that I really struggled with because it's just like, I really put a lot of value into races and look forward to them. And of course I want to achieve my goals and everything. But I think it's just every time it amazes me how, like you said, like, I feel like I've learned so much more from coming in second than I ever have from winning any race. Like, it really is amazing. Like, I can just look back on things and be like, like that maybe really kind of, broke my heart a little bit, that one race, but I really wouldn't change it because then it, like, every single time something great came out of it that I think really just helped me become better from that point on. So I just think, it's amazing how that is with running, all the things it teaches you and helps you grow.
I remember, well, this is more towards Jake. So Jake didn't do this, but I remember a reporter one time wrote something like, Brommer comes in second again. And I was like, who I'm running against here? Because the girl who beat me ended up getting a silver medal at the Olympics when a few years later. Like, there was an incredible level of talent. And then he'd sum it up like, Brommer got second again.
I felt bad the past few years. Taryn's not in our coverage area, so, like, the only time I've ever mentioned her is in regards to Marlee generally. And I've always felt bad these past 3 years, especially, where you kind of took the lead for the most part, where it's just Marlee beats Taryn again. Like, I know she's seeing some of this stuff because it's me and it's Tim from Penn Live writing this. Like, I know she sees it. And it's like, I wish that I could do something different, but it's like, but this is what I've got. With the little bit of extra time, I was curious, what's the funniest story you guys have from your running careers? Kind of want to go one by one here. Just like, what's the strangest, weirdest, most laugh out loud moment you had?
So I'll start with one and then we can kind of circle around. I And I don't remember what race it was or anything like that. But for some reason, I was signing autographs after an event. And at the same race, I had someone who wanted me to sign their bald head and someone who wanted me to sign their banana. And I was like, what is wrong with this crowd? They are so weird.
Okay, I think I got something. I was trying to think because I was like, oh, funny? I was like, I've had a lot of things happen, but I don't know about, like, funny. But it's something that I think is pretty funny to look back on. But I got, like clipped from behind, ate the ground again. This girl fell on top of me, and I got up. And I remember, like, as I was falling to the ground, I literally said, no! Like, as I was falling, because it was the same thing. But I still finished the race, but it was, it wasn't good, but I just think it's
funny.
And
they say running's not a contact sport.
I know, I know. And now I think it's funny because despite those, like, horrible first few races, indoor ended up being, like I think cross country is still my favorite season, but indoor's my second favorite season.
That's awesome.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. The weirdest, I don't know if it's funny, but the weirdest, I was running a road race in Boston. Like, I'm a pretty mild-mannered person, and I still don't know what I did. But I passed some guy, and he started yelling at me while I was running. So he was really upset about me passing him. And he's yelling at me saying he's going to catch me. So I ran very fast. It was some road race. I ran very fast. And then, I got to the end, and my husband, who is like my constant support crew, was there. And I said, there's some guy who was yelling at me, and I've got to stay away from him. And sure enough, then he crosses the finish line and starts threatening to beat up my husband because, I don't know, I think he thinks I contacted him when I passed him. And I really don't think I did. And then he was insulting my husband. So that was just really odd because runners usually are not like that at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was just having a bad day.
I don't know. Or he didn't like to be passed by a woman. I don't know if you all have this now, but like I used to have, like when I was in high school, boys would be upset. Boys on other teams would be upset if I was running faster than them, if they threw us all together because time got short. So sometimes they'd throw the boys and girls 2 miles together, and the boys and girls cross country together, which I loved because then I finally got competition.
I love that too.
I was going to say, I always at the end of dual meets, I'd be like, oh, please just combine them.
Yes. So
and the
nice.
boys on my team were totally used to it. And they were totally used to me beating them. And then they'd be cheering for me. But the boys who didn't want to get passed, I'd get really frustrated because they'd be clipping my feet and elbowing me because they didn't want me to pass them. And, and I didn't want to have an issue like you had where, you go tumbling because someone stepped on your foot. So a couple times I'd yell at them, like, back off, and let me pass you.
Yeah, I think it's funny because now, like, sometimes on Instagram, like, people will comment and stuff. But I feel like most people, they're just kind of, she ran the same time as me. And I feel like, not that I've, like, raced against any cool, like, I don't know. I'm like, maybe that's just what I've seen. I'm sure that's not for everybody, but
you're good.
Yeah.
You're really good.
Yeah, I would say in the road racing scene, most road races are mixed. And so my experience has definitely been that, guys, they'll help you for most of the race and they will work with you and all this stuff. And then it's like, they don't really want to get chicked at the end. And so they kind of like take off in the last like 100 meters or whatever. But I've actually had some really positive experiences running with guys as well. And my most recent was when I ran the Houston Marathon in January. And I was running with a guy the last like 5K. And initially I was like, okay, I'm going to try and pick it up and I'm going to try and pass him. And then I realized I was not feeling that great and that all I could do was really just tuck in behind him. And so I was talking with him and I was like, hey, like, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to do the work. Like, I'm done. I'm just like along for the ride. And he's like, no, you got this. It's going to be fine. And so we ran together like all the way. And with like 400 meters to go, he like let me pass him. And he was like, all right, this is your time. You did it. Go get it. Blah, blah, blah. Like, it was so nice. And so, but like, I had no idea who he was. He was just wearing an orange shirt. And then after the race, I did a podcast and I like thanked that I was like, if anyone knows who this guy is, like he was wearing an orange shirt. And so someone like looked up his bib number, looked up his name, and I contacted him on Facebook and like got to send him like a thank you note and everything. So it was pretty cool. So there's definitely getting, I think, better camaraderie out there, Lois, than your unfortunate circumstance. That's very sad, and that's not how it's supposed to go.
People are great. For the most part, guys have been great, and like my training partners in high school were boys, and they were my biggest fans. So yeah, they were funny. So for 99.9% have been great.
I've really grown to enjoy the running community more, and like I'm never going to be as invested as you girls are, as you women are. But the most competition I do now is Broad Street Run in Philly, and I've done 4. This year was going to be 5, unless it doesn't get run. And the best part of it about it for me is the signs that I'll see from people on the streets and whatnot. Like that's something that before I started covering Marlee and the cross country scene here, that was my first introduction to like the silliness that this scene can have. And now I watch and cover this stuff, track and cross country and everything, and just seeing like Marlee or the Affolter brothers a couple years ago, or almost any kid really in the high school area, they'll stand back at the finish line, and they'll, as long as they got some breath in them, they're trying to say like congratulations to the guy or girl they just beat, or they're trying to cheer their teammates on, or they're high-fiving the next 15 or so people that come by, even though they're all dying. And you don't see that too often in some of the other sports. There's always that sportsmanship there, but I think that you guys have a scene that's a little bit different. It's a little bit friendlier for the most part. There are those exceptions, like Lois said, but it's nice to be in that environment sometimes and see the cutthroatness go away for just a few minutes, and to see everyone's just like, you all seem to know that 10 or 12 of the last 20 people that just ran by you put up a PR time. Even if you beat them, they still probably did something they've never done before, and you guys seem to cheer each other on in that way.
I think that's the great thing about the sport, because you can compete against yourself, and you don't have to compete against other people.
Yeah, I know. I always say to people, like, I think one of the best things about running is just like it's exactly as you said, like it's just the community of it all. And like I always say to people, I'm like, distance runners, I was like, they're just the best people. Like they're like, because I mean I feel like just with all the work ethic that it requires and everything, like I mean they just have great character, and just like you said, like they're goofy, they're funny. Like I mean I feel like you just see that like across the board for the most part. And yeah, I know like all of my best friends, like I mean this isn't true, but there's many of them that like, I mean I just feel like if you're a distance runner, you're almost like, you just hit it off with people, like you're almost like instantly friends, because it's just like, yeah, you all have that thing in common, and it's just something really good.
Yeah.
Well, and I also think, like, have you ever cooled down with someone after a race, or you met up with like a random stranger for a run, and just like you literally can run with someone for 10 minutes and you're like best friends, like all the walls fall down and you can just be so like open and honest, and it like, I don't know, it's just something really special.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to that in college, just like having, I mean, it's the wolf pack, but the pack is real. Like I'm so excited because like most of my training that I've done in high school, like my coach is young, so he actually does a lot of my workouts and with me. He's ran so many miles with me over the years. So I'm so thankful for that. But like I really haven't been able to run with anyone else to like train with, but like I'm so excited for that in the future, because I feel like that's like just a whole other side with running that I haven't experienced yet. It's just like how much you can like connect with somebody, just like, yeah, by running with them and training with them and getting through this really tough moments and workouts, whatever it is. So I'm really looking forward to that.
One of my best friends is still like the woman who was basically about the same ability as me when I was in college. So we did all our workouts together, and we were trading positions in cross country meets together. And yeah, you really get to know someone and bond, when you spend all that time together running and training. And, and it was a blessing that I was with someone who enjoyed the competition, and, we had a great relationship. And I would just tell you, especially you, Marlee, enjoy it now while you have it. Because like for me, when I graduated from college, that was what I really missed, was just having that team to get together with every day and work out with. And as you get older, it gets much harder to have that, just have that community that you can run with every day once you have to try to, balance work and family and connect. So it's a very special time, and enjoy it.
Absolutely.
To kind of start to wrap this up here is you guys are segueing into this really nicely. The college, the next step for Marlee, what should she expect? What does she need to be prepared for? What is it going to be like? She's said it before. Her goals are to win national championships in the NCAA. Her goals are to make the Olympics and who knows, do how well at that stage. So you both have had varying levels of success before her at those stages. What does she need to be prepared for now? What is it going to take?
I think, I would say it's going to be a big change, and to be ready for it. You're going to be living somewhere different. You're going to be eating different food. You're going to have a different coach. And, just be ready for change, and be kind to yourself, and don't expect yourself to, automatically adjust right away. There's a lot of change that you're going to go through, and give yourself time. And and enjoy it. It is a really special opportunity. So enjoy it, as well as trying to succeed.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, my suggestion is, there are going to be a lot of things that change. There's going to be a lot of things that change for the better. There's going to be things that change that are hard for you as well. Focusing on things, and I really like to have big goals, like I want to win a national title, but also small goals, like daily goals. What can I do each day that's going to help me stay healthy? What can I do each day that's going to help me reduce the stress of all these changes? And those little goals are what's going to add up to make that big goal possible.
Awesome. Thank you.
Marlee, if at any point you got little questions or big questions you want to ask them, this is definitely the opportunity here to pick the brains of some of the greats before you too.
I mean, I was just going to ask something along the lines. I mean, first of all, thank you guys again for just, that advice that you gave. I would definitely, keep those things in mind. And I mean, I'm excited for those next steps, even though, I know they're going to be challenging. It's going to be so different, but I'm super, super excited for that. But in terms of pursuing a professional career, so you guys, gave me your advice for going into college, but what about for after that, to pursue those next steps?
The thing that I think super important is, college is a great time for development. So you've obviously had a really successful high school career. You've accomplished a lot, and you have it dialed in. This is how Marlee runs her best. And so college, you're going to go through kind of that whole process all over again. And like Lois mentioned, it's important to be patient during that time. But I think it's also important to remember that each year is a building block. And just because one year maybe doesn't go the way you hope, or one season doesn't go the way you hope, it's a learning opportunity. Mm-hmm. Kind of like those races that you were talking about that you had a lot of disappointment in. They were learning opportunities, and they helped you get to where you are today. And so it's going to be more than just a race. You're going to have seasons. You may have years where things don't go exactly the way that you had hoped, or you had progression, this long-term build-up. And so if something's not going well, and don't, career ending or anything like that, it's really important to just see it as, what can I learn and what can I change, so that I can get back to remembering the foundation of why I do this, what I'm doing this for, and why, the things that will bring me joy.
So, all right. Sorry, there was a little bit of a delay here on my end, it looks like. I think a question I also have kind of still tied to that too is, by no means do you need to have a husband to be your support system, but you guys, Lois and Neely, have both expressed that your husbands have been huge supporters and critical support systems for you as runners. How important is that to find someone to help bring you from, you know, that college career into your adult, you know, professional career, and as an adult runner, to have someone there along the way?
Yeah, I think it's important to have someone who understands how important running is to you, because otherwise they're not going to be supportive of the time that you spend on it. And I didn't really run professionally. I ran in New England when I was in law school, and he helped me a lot with that at the time. It just makes it a whole lot easier if you're doing races and things, if you have someone who can go and, you know, and just literally help you, because it's really, the mechanics of it all, I think, are really hard if you don't have somebody to just kind of help you with the clothes and everything else. But just for life, you know, like for me, I kind of joke, like my kids used to say, "Don't go out and run, Mom," when they were little. And my husband used to say, "Let her go, please." And he would tell me sometimes, like, I used to retire from running because I thought, oh, I just like to compete. I don't really like to train. And it took me a while to realize that I really do actually just like to run, and it's not all about training for a particular goal. And, you know, and he helped me convince that. He helped convince me of that I am a happier person, you know, when I'm fit and when I'm running. And for a long time, I really thought that was just so I could compete. And I was looking forward to being away from that pressure of having to be fit and having to be healthy. So it, you know, I think he helped me to kind of segue into the next stage of my life, where running it's a support of my life, but it's not like the main focus.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I always say that behind every successful person, there is a army of support. And whether that is a significant other or family or friends or coach or team or support staff, a combination of all of those tend to be the best, where you have a lot of people who are behind you and helping, you know, make that race and that victory possible. And so that's something that you're going to start over with in college, you know, starting with a new coach, a new team, new support staff, new environment, all of that. And then it'll be the same thing like post-collegiately when you transition into a pro career, is who's the same in that support system and who changes. And I think it's kind of constantly shifting to some extent, but it's important to have those really strong foundational members that are just with you at all times.
Because that is like, I mean, just absolutely true. And like, I know for me, like I'm so thankful for, like, well, first of all, my parents, like, they're just like such huge supporters. Like, I mean, I'm just so thankful for, like, yeah, how much they just care and want to do everything they can to help support me in pursuing my goals, no matter how crazy it may make our lives. But yeah, but it's them, and it's just so many other people, like obviously coaches and teammates, and like even for me, like we call it like Team Marlee, like just in my family, just like all the people who I just feel so supported by. And that's even like that's why I love my little small town and my community so much, because like it's even like teachers and like my principal, like the superintendent, like there's so many people that I just feel like I'm just so thankful for them, because I feel like they've just been yeah, such incredible supporters. And it makes me, like, especially once I get to like these national meets and also like state meets for that matter, just like once you get up to those yeah, just more high-end meets, I guess, like I really want to just like put forth, I mean, I always put forth my best effort, but maybe even more so, like I really want to get a good result, because I just want to show them like I'm able to do this because of you guys, and as like a big thank you. Like, especially this past year at Foot Locker Nationals, when that was the first time that I felt like I was able to perform at my best at that race. And it was just like it was so many things, because I know like I had so many people just like praying for me and like thinking of me, and it just meant so much that I finally was able to kind of like put together that race, and it felt like one big thank you. And I was so happy to end on that note.
That's awesome. That was very exciting.
I know we blew completely by the 30-minute timeline I was hoping to hit here. I think it was entirely worth it. This was, for me, a pleasure to get to talk to 3 different generations of all-time great runners that we've had in this area. For me, it's the first time talking to Lois and Neely, so this has been really a pleasure there. I really appreciate you guys finding an hour of time to share together and get to talk and, you know, share your stories and insight and whatnot. I hope you guys all stay safe these next few weeks and get out and run as best you can and enjoy yourselves the best way you can right now. Thank you, Lois, for jumping in here. Thank you, Neely. Good luck with Olympic training. Good luck with your son. I hope he grows up and, you know, starts to get into running here soon too. Marlee, it's been an absolute blast covering you these past 4 years. This might be my last interview with you here.
Oh, that sounds sad.
Good luck at NC State. I'll be trying to keep tabs as much as I can, but I hope you do well there. So thank you all, ladies. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. And it was hopefully not the last time I talk to you.
Awesome. It was great. Thank you.
Good luck, Neely and Marlee. Wish you all the best.
Thanks.
Doing what you're doing.
It was awesome to reconnect with you, Lois.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And Marlee, if you ever need anything, please feel free to reach out if there are other questions that we didn't get to cover today. Always happy to be a sounding board for you with things.
Yes, thank you so much. That means so much. And yeah, thank you both for your awesome advice. Like, it was so fun talking with you. And Jake, thank you for giving us this opportunity to chat with each other. It was awesome.
Absolutely.
For sure.
All right, everyone. Have a good day.
All right, you too.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Take care.